Greetings and welcome once again to your midweek recharge. This is Pastor Jay here with you once again. And we're talking a little bit about our feelings today. And I'm not talking about, we're going to talk about feelings. We're talking about how we feel, okay? It's kind of interesting because feelings are what we base mostly everything upon. If we feel happy, we feel good. If we feel sad, we feel bad. If we feel indifferent, we stay in bed. That's kind of what it is. I mean, we base our whole existence on feelings. How do we feel today, right? Well, interestingly enough, Paul wrote to the church at Corinth, and I have to say this is really, really cool. Paul wrote to the church of Corinth in 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 7. He said these words, "We walk by faith, not by sight." Or if you will, we walk by faith, not by feelings. Because we feel that if we feel good, then we're blessed. And if we don't feel good, then we're not blessed. But that's not always the case. Sometimes, and I've learned this over my years, because my dad once said this, and I've learned this as I've gone on. My dad once said in a message, he said, if you're being attacked by Satan, rejoice because you must be doing something right. And, just in my own case, in my own life, the last several weeks, for those of you that visit Doran Wesleyan Church, where we pastor, then you know this. If not, I'm going to share with you something that you may not know. For the last month, okay, Satan has attacked me every single week, trying to keep me out of church. I am not kidding you when I say that. It has, as I've been recording this, and I'm recording this right now today, it has been an entire month. Something has come up every single week trying to keep me out of church. Okay? Just quick, I'll tell you. First week, I was cutting cantaloupe. And somehow the knife jumped and it landed 1.5 inches deep into my leg. I had to pull that knife out of my leg, and the blood was going everywhere. I had to clean it up and wrap it up because this was the idea. And in my leg throbbed afterwards, and I was like, do I stay home or do I go to church? I go to church. I went to church and I preached even though my leg hurt. And you know what? It is. I don't walk by faith. I walk by faith. I don't walk by sight. I don't walk by feelings, right? Second week, my finger that I used to chord the guitar busted. I mean, it busted wide open, and I'm sitting here bleeding and carrying on again. And so I wrapped it up and did the best I could. Okay, that's 2 weeks. He tried to keep me out of church by doing something like it didn't work. Third week, I go into church, and we start having worship, and we're praising, and we're doing all that. And as soon as we get done with that, I go into prayer time, and he starts locking up my throat. I'm not kidding you. Those that have been in church saw that happen. I started to where I was having trouble. I was like, and I was getting to a point where I couldn't talk. And I finally said, "No, Satan, not today. In the name of Jesus, I'm healed." And the throat opened up, and I was clear, and I was able to preach the rest of the day. It happens. This past week, he worked on my mind to where I couldn't clear my mind to have a word to preach. And yet, I went, and God, at the 0 hour, gave me a word. This is what I'm saying. Satan will continually try to discourage us. That's why we don't go by emotions. That's why we don't go by feelings. You cannot go by how you feel. Feelings are irrelevant to your spiritual life. That's what I'm trying to say. We walk by faith, not by sight. We don't walk by how we feel. We walk by how we know our relationship is with God. That's the point. So that's what I'm getting at today. Don't base your spiritual blessings and your spiritual life on how you feel, because feelings don't matter. They really don't. You can be cast down, you can be destroyed inside, you can be so hurt inside, you can be all this type of stuff, and it doesn't mean anything because it's not about how you feel. It's not. It's not. Jesus was destroyed inside when he saw his friend die, when he saw his people reject him, when he went to the garden and he prayed and he pled with God that he didn't want to have to do that. Jesus went through all that, yet he didn't go by how he felt. He knew there was a purpose, he knew there was a plan, and he said, "Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done." And that's the point. So that's the way we gotta live. So that's what I'm saying today. Don't walk by your feelings. Walk by faith. For we walk by faith, not by sight. I hope you've enjoyed the recharge today, and if you did, please, if you haven't by now, hit that thumbs up button and let us know you appreciate this series. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We got tons of videos up here, and we put new ones up all the time, and you'll want to know when a new one comes up. So please do that. Until we're with you next time, this is Pastor Jay wishing you a blessed day, and we will be back with you next time for another recharge. Have a good one. Bye.